All right, so here we're going to talk a little bit about how intuition works. How does it actually communicate to us? Well, first of all, there are internal cues. Intuition comes through the mind in terms of our thoughts and inspirations. We get some kind of sudden insight, a new idea, the classic aha light bulb going off, all right? These kinds of inspirations. And then with that, we often have images and pictures of various kinds or visions. And then also sometimes voices. We will hear things or perhaps see words, all right, where we get a message clearly given to us. And then, of course, intuition definitely always works through our dreams and through the various images or messages and feelings we get through our dreams. So this is a huge source, are these various internal cues. And then further internal cues are through our body. All right, these are physiological cues in terms of what we sense and feel in our body. And so we could just all of a sudden feel really heavy, all right, really a sense of heaviness, a deadness, or sick to the stomach, a sense of dread, right? Or it could be we're feeling expansive and lifted up, enlivened, energized. Um, just all kind of a positive energy. So it's basically more of a positive, a yes type energy, or a no type energy, a negative energy. And then, of course, there's all kinds of emotional cues and feelings that we get. There could be just a feeling of, oh, I don't feel good about this. It doesn't feel right to me. Or a feeling like, yeah, it clicks. You just feel in your gut a yes. It feels good. It feels right. It can be very, very clear. Now, do beware that not all feelings are intuitive. Intuition can speak through our feelings, but not all our feelings have their origins in intuition, and not all feelings serve to guide us. Sometimes our feelings are coming from past traumas, and therefore we have our fears and anxieties that really are a result of unresolved, unhealed issues from the past. And they're not indicators of what lies ahead, and they shouldn't be taken as warning signals that we're in danger, right? They could be coming from other sources. So beware that not all feelings are intuitive. Okay. But the body, as I mentioned before, is sort of like a living antenna that can just pick up energetically, all right, through coming in through our mind in terms of thoughts, images, words, messages, in our bodies in terms of sensations and what we're feeling. Sometimes people get goosebumps, their hair stands up. When there's a yes answer coming through, a lot of people get their hair standing up or goosebumps, and that's usually a message of yes, this is right, this is true, this is good, this is what you should do. And of course all these various emotional cues. But it's not just these internal cues, there are also external cues that intuition speaks through. External events in terms of how things line up. All right, and a classic here are all kinds of synchronicities that can start to show up that are uncanny. It's just so far-fetched that you have, these sorts of things happening that parallel, the issue you're facing or the question you've posed, that the answer will show up out there through some kind of uncanny event where you think, wow, this is kind of spooky. This is more than just a coincidence of what happened. Um, so that's very, very interesting. And so they often are patterns. The patterns around our issue and questions carry over in the outer world, that similar patterns will show up there. There'll be a resonance, okay, of the inner and the outer. And those are cues that the energy is all lining up for this, right? And is a message being communicated to us through this, right? These are messages being communicated to us. So it's very, very interesting how this works. Okay. The next thing to be aware of is that there are two forms of intuition. Intuition that just arises spontaneously out of the blue. where we're just getting a message out of nowhere. We haven't even posed a question. We're not necessarily searching for something, but something comes through. It could be sometimes a warning, an unexpected warning. That's very common. Um, Guidance that we need that we didn't know we needed could just all of a sudden show up. All kinds of messages just come out of the blue. Then, of course, and this is probably what we'll be doing a lot here, are techniques where we will explicitly solicit intuition to come and give us some guidance and answers. And so, excuse me, this is where, various divination techniques are used. And what's so fascinating again is how universal this is. Everywhere, throughout the world, in all societies and cultures, wherever we human beings have existed, we've had techniques to get intuitive guidance. All right, and indeed, it's a useful tool. Now, there are some important prerequisites. For intuition to really work, it can't be interfered with. And what often interferes with intuition is our own emotional baggage. When we have all kinds of fears and doubts, confusion, and we're just emotionally all tangled up and messed up around a lot of issues, that is going to interfere with the voice of clear intuition coming through. So we need to get clear of any kind of baggage like this. All right. That's why it's so important to do personal growth work, spiritual kind of processing, so we can be just truly clear channels, and therefore it can clearly receive, the frequencies and messages of intuition to come in. And that, of course, entails that we live in integrity. We live in truth. We get clear of any kind of baggage, any kind of deception, dishonesty, all those sort of negative things distort intuition. It's only when you live in truth can you then receive the truth. Then the third prerequisite is we need to be in a state of receptivity, right? Being relaxed and open to new possibilities and ideas. We're receptive. We're willing to learn, to change, to grow, right? We can let go of things. We have no vested interest or agenda. We're open to learning and understanding things in a new way. And that is key. That state of receptivity is of paramount importance for intuition to come in. All right? So again, that's why spiritual practice of getting clear, living in integrity, being receptive really plays a key role in enabling intuition to speak to us. Now, there are some things to watch out for. And we need to be aware of not contaminating intuition with our baggage, with our emotional issues, our attachments, our agendas, wishful thinking and projection. This is very common. I see this a lot with people. They are so hooked and attached to certain ideas and outcomes and agendas that they then can affect reality in some way, or they interpret events in such a way that they think it's intuition speaking, but it really is just their own projection, their own fantasy, their own wish fulfillment that's going on here. So beware, all right? That is a huge barrier for a lot of people. Do not seek to manipulate others. If you really are ego-driven to seek power over others and manipulate others and exploit others, that is a danger. And, you just do not go that route. Beware of any messages that inflate the ego, is in any way fear-inducing, or messages that basically are telling you what you must do. Generally speaking, that isn't of intuition. That is just ego stuff coming up. That is just hearing what you want to hear, or it could even be some, voices of the other side speaking that are just playing games with you. You need to watch out here for anything like this. Intuition brings us information, but we always have the freedom of choice as to what we do with that information that we get. The The only time we get a message that is basically telling us what to do is usually a message of warning to get out of danger. And where, for example, I once had it where I was in an apartment with this fellow. I was quite young and got convinced to go over to his place for a barbecue. I was at a park, reading a book, and it just came out of nowhere. So strong, these words, "Get out now." All right. And it was like a command just coming in somehow in my mind. It was just so strange, just out of the blue, out of nowhere, and it's like I just had to listen to it. I just knew that I better listen to this and get out of this apartment right away. And it wasn't because of something I saw or what this fellow did. I really think it was just, again, this voice of intuition or guardian angel, something was warning me to get out of the apartment because this guy was up to no good. So, it's only in situations like that where, you get a rather kind of commanding voice of intuition. Normally, it's just a lot of imagery and messages and signals encouraging a certain direction in life, that you should go this way instead of that way. But it's always acknowledging that we have free will, right? That we have free will. So the basic steps involved always is, putting forth, first of all, your intention with clarity. What is it that you want to find out about? What is the information that you're wanting to get? Okay? That you get very clear on that. Then you need to shift into a state of relaxed awareness. All right? The state of receptivity. Go doing a bit of meditation and deep breathing to get you into that, relaxed state. Then you go into receptivity, receiving the input, getting the answer to or the guidance that you're looking for. Then you take a look at it and assess it, all right? And then from there you can seek confirmation if you feel you need to, and apply it. You need to apply it. That way you honor the intuition that's coming through. Now this is just a quick little overview here. We will go more in depth on those steps down the road in the exercises that we'll be covering. All right, so that's this lesson for now.